platforms, share what you've learned about the event and the valuable work being done that you learned throughout the event, as well as inspiring stories of empowered women. I believe that together we can create a powerful movement and help shape a brighter future for African women and young girls across the continent. So we are also thrilled to announce that we shall be streaming in live on YouTube as well. Be sure to tune in, share the link with your family members and friends as well, and your networks, so they can be a part of this momentous occasion, and they can also join in on the conversation. If they happen to miss this event and you want to catch up online, then that's fine as well. You can always catch up with the event online. So without further ado, let's begin the program. We'll start off with opening remarks to set the tone just right for the event. And to help us kickstart the event, we are joined by the esteemed Honorable Grace Kaybayo from Uganda. She is a dynamic and accomplished leader shaping the future of Africa. Currently, she is now serving as the Secretary General of Pan-African Women's Organization, PAWO. Kaybayo has dedicated her career to championing women's rights and empowerment, with extensive experience in various positions, which also includes the Executive Secretary for the East African region and Senior Presidential Advisor to the President of Uganda. Kaybayo has tirelessly worked to address the challenges faced by refugees and displaced people in northern Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, please give her a warm welcome as she opens the event for us. A virtual clap.
Hello. Hello, Maya.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Maya. How are you?
I'm great. And how are you doing?
Very nice to see you. Pretty and smart. I'm very confident of the event this evening, given the fact that you're leading us through. I'm so humbled. And allow me to start by thanking Joy. Joy is one consistent woman who has kept on my case. And I want to congratulate her because this time we had to make the time, scattered as we are. I need to begin by apologizing for my president, Mama Eunice Ipinge from Namibia. She's the current president of PAWO. She is handling another event between South Africa and Namibia upcountry, and I'm not very sure that the network there will enable us to see it live. In the meantime, Mali is also celebrating, in spite of the hardships that are in Mali. They even had a sudden note of visiting the graves. I'm sure you all know what has been going on in Mali. I might not have to elaborate. And East Africa, I'm sure, is online with us. Central Africa was having issues of network, but I hope when it enables, most of all our members will join us today. Thank you very much, Hawa. Thank you, Joy. Excellencies, especially Dr. Ngozi Okonjo, my sister Emma Kawawa. The name Kawawa rings a bell. I hope I'm right. The young ladies that have brought us together today in their diaspora, our designers, the young girls in Nigeria, distinguished ladies and gentlemen attending this meeting today, allow me to stand on the protocol that there is, lest I make mistakes. My name's Kaybayo Grace, and I'm humbled to be here today. And the responsibility that you've given to me today is, I think, the easiest, because introducing PAWO partly is like introducing myself. PAWO is the oldest women's organization on the continent. PAWO came in later after the women had actually started activism, especially in the revolutionary struggle to get Africa independent and to decolonize the continent, women got together, meeting for one cause, coordinating and wondering how they could play their part and eventually maybe claim their space, which is now. But the women stood by the struggle, fought for the struggle. Eventually, they had to get combatants because we have several of them now who are retired, but they were militant in the struggle. Women were very, very effective in nursing, burying the dead, looking after the homes, bridging the gap. And eventually, after several countries started getting independent, then they took on the responsibility of lobbying and mobilizing for the one voice of the continent, an institution that could get all the African peoples speak as one voice and use one platform. And that was none other than the OAU, which is the current African Union. All in all, the recorded struggle, really, the women could have started around 1948, but eventually got recognized in 1962, where Mwalimu Julius Nyerere officiated on the launch of the Pan-African Women Organization in Tanzania. Since then, women have continued to get together. At that time, the main aim and objective for the Pan-African women was the decolonizing of the continent, freedom and independence of the African peoples, wherever they were, irrespective of being on the continent or not. Because I'm sure you all know that Pan-Africanism really came back to the continent after the 1900, where Comrade Kwame Nkrumah and his colleagues brought it in. So the women continued. As women, they had to back up. They keep the home business running, at the same time, back up what was required to do. Most of the Pan-African Women Organization women ended up being the first officials in government in the newly acquired governments of the African countries. And just to mention a few, we had Mama Margaret Kenyatta, who is the big sister to the former president of Kenya, and who was the first daughter to Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. She actually led the delegation to Tanzania. Then she had Phoebe Asio, Mama Phoebe Asio. She's also from Kenya. We had Pumla Kisosonkole, Margaret, Joyce Mpanga, and Rebecca Mulira. That was a delegation from Uganda. We had Ramata Sise. We had people like Kama from Mali. We had the South Africans, just to mention a few. And all these women got together to put their minds together and move together as one. And since then, Pan-African Women Organization has continued. After the independence, the movement, which was the Pan-African Women Movement, turned to the current organization to tackle the issues of socio-economic development. Try and fight for the space of women, struggle for the girl child, and really claim their space as women. And I don't think they've done badly. These women today, some of them have left us, but others still continue. The Beijing that happened recently was an outcome or a continuation of PAWO. PAWO has been key in the formation of the African Union organs that exist today, mentioning the Pan-African Parliament, the ECOSOC of the African Union, which I was lucky to serve on as the interim and eventually the executive committee, the RECs that we have today, like the SADC, the ECOSOC, the ECOWAS. Those are the regional economic commissions that support the implementation of the continent. We have the CEDAW to do with the citizen identity of the peoples. That is especially when the AU decided to take on the diaspora as the sixth region of the continent. So, dear delegates, to continue the work of women can never, never stop. We have structures on the African continent. We have 5 regions. We have not started on the diaspora until now. I must congratulate you because you might be our first partners in the diaspora. But we have regional offices run by executive secretaries, but led by vice presidents to assist the president of the organization. And these are namely Central is hosted by Cameroon. We have Niger being the executive secretary of West Africa, but Mali being the vice president. We have South Africa led by the vice president, Comrade Batabile, and Angola running the regional office. We have Algeria running the northern office with a vice president and executive secretary from Egypt. We have East Africa. How could I forget myself? The vice president being from Kenya, Ambassador Mary Kimulu, and Dr. Susan running the executive office in Tanzania. We partner very, very strongly with the youths and other women organizations, wherever we look into programs and projects lacking in a certain area, we believe in partnership. We believe in finding organizations that are already on the ground, and we partner with those in effort to support one another and back each other up. The youths are very, very important to us. Like you all know, the mother and child issue, we can never leave them behind. So we have the Pan-African Youth Union that partners with us. We have the All Africa Students Association. They also partner our partners with the Pan-African Youth Union's office in Morocco and the All African Students Association is in Ghana. But we have national chapters. It's not very easy to keep the top firm without the foundation. So our foundation has been the national chapters. And we go opening national chapters as at when and how members respond. We have been recently upgraded to the status of specialized agents of the African Union, but we did serve as members of the observer missions at the AU for so many years. The current president, being Eunice Ipinge from Namibia, took over from one of the longest serving presidents of the Pan-African Women Organization, and that is none other than Mam Astu Koite, who retired in 2020 when we held the Congress in Namibia, handing over the mantle to Mem Yunis. Mam Astou is from Senegal, but she's still a honorary president to the Organization for Continuity. We strongly believe that the diaspora should not only be part of Africa or the sixth Congress, the sixth region of the continent by words, but we believe that time has come for the diaspora to be firmly involved in everything that we do, participate in the resolutions that need to be made, and actually add to the whatever actions we are carrying on to implement and address issues that we have as a continent. We believe strongly in a self-sustaining, self-dependent Africa that can resolve its problems by itself. The African way, let us solve our own problems. And we also strongly believe in a continent that can sustain itself. Why can't we sustain our continent and address our issues ourselves? Africa is a rich continent. If we are failing, it's because maybe we have not managed to spot the one area that we need to tap to get things moving. Africa is full of minerals. Africa has human resource. Africa is rich in culture. Africa is rich in humanity and being the herb and beginning of man. How can we fail? So the Pan-African women strongly believe that we need to look into what we have missed to address this issue. We talk of the Africa that we want, and what Africa do we want? This is a question I'm posing to you. And how do we get it? We strongly believe in our cultures, especially the good ones. The cultural norms are very key in the discipline that used to govern our continent. Of late, we have dumped all that and have taken up the new experiences. Africa needs one thing. We can learn the incoming new methods. We can adopt what we feel that is compatible to the original African cultural norms that used to govern our communities. If you look at the discipline that we used to have then, the cultural norms that used to keep us together, govern our communities, and what we are doing today, you realize that we dumped what we had in order to get what we want without realizing exactly what we wanted, what it would be. Therefore, it's a call on this day of the Pan-African women that we need to revisit our original cultural norms, see how they can be compatible with the few of today to have a decent, disciplined, self-committing communities. We have an issue of embedding the patriotic Pan-African ideologies into everything that we do. We believe that the same system that groomed your parents and your ancestors can groom a better community and future for Africa. Education is very important and key, and that will bring me to the 7 priority areas that we choose to focus on as the Pan-African women. There is nothing that can be done without peace and security. Therefore, peace and security is priority number one. And there I want to commend our representative, Madam Binta Diop, who is the special envoy to the chairperson of the African Union at the AU Commission. Madam Diop has carried the mantle of trying to mobilize and get us all together to address the peace and security issue where women and youths are concerned, so that we can relate and engage with our counterparts, the men, to try and address our security issues. It is a bit worrying given the current coup d'etats that are happening everywhere, especially in West Africa, the unstable countries in Somalia, the DRC Congo, a bit in Burundi, the ADF that keeps attacking Uganda, the political situation in Kenya that we pray will find amicable solution and peace. I think you will agree with me that the peace and security issue is still crucial and needs urgent attention. Number two on our priority is agriculture and environment. You'll agree with me that there is no security without food security. Therefore, agriculture is one stable source for African countries to produce food for our families, especially the women. The women are key drivers in all this. We don't stop at only cooking it, but even producing it. Therefore, it's an important item on the priority areas, and agriculture cannot survive without environment. The climate change today, dear delegates, you'll agree with me that has been a very unfair deal where the cause of the climate instability we have today is not really by Africa. It's by our partners who are over-industrialized, and the damage is caused to Africa. And yet, the will to try and put resources together to address this issue is a slow motion. We have water sourcing as number three. You will agree with me that water has been a source of insecurity, especially to women and our children. Some people still trek miles and miles, kilometers to fetch water. The earlier we address the water problem to get it closer to the people, the safer our children and women will be. Education and health go side by side or together. You need healthy people to be educated or even to live and work. We therefore believe that health addressed can combat the issue of education or lack of education, because some people live far from schools and the distance to be trekked, and a hungry child will not concentrate. Therefore, education and health backed by water and agriculture in the environment, we shall have healthy and good community and peoples. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot stand alone as islands. Africa needs unity. It's very important for Africans, especially the African states. Our member states, the earlier they realized that they cannot stand alone and survive, the better it will be for them. It's very easy for women. For example, if I asked you, today I get married in Ghana, what happens? Tomorrow my daughter gets married elsewhere. That is Pan-Africanism and regional integration in simplicity. But if we actually focused on the regional integration and focused on the economy and looked at a currency that can make our trade easier. For example, a long time ago, our ancestors used to use barter trade. What has stopped barter trade from continuing? If I can take groundnuts to Kenya and bring back posho or oil without having to change and lose value of resources, that is very poor mathematics we are applying today. Therefore, we want to call upon the women and the youths. Let us find our own modes. Let's change the narrative and find simple ways. 70% of our women population are not educated. So how are you going to make it easy for this woman to trade across the borders without having to change from one currency to another? Even read things that she may not be able to understand. Let us try and make life easier and more simpler for our 70%. Otherwise, we'll be misrepresenting them. We have areas of attention where we can say this country needs this, and the other member state has it. How do we make it easy for each of them to acquire what they need? That is where the patriotic Pan-African ideologies would come in to enhance the regional integration. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we have some gentlemen here, because it is not easy to run our agenda, the women agenda, without including men. In some of our programs, we have men, committed men. Even the he for she term came from there. And these men have been with us time immemorial. Recently, when we were celebrating the 60 years of PAWO in Namibia, we had some men. We had some men who have walked the walk with us. When we were pushing the Gender is My Agenda campaign for the Maputo Protocol, we had men who stuck with us. And on this, really, I would like to recognize Ajay. Dr. Ajay is one person who has kept with women, who has pushed the women agenda even better than some women. We have some heads of states who understand us. Unfortunately, our fallen senior comrades have gone. If we talk about Pan-Africanism today, I think the last one was Uncle Bob, fondly called by some of us, Robert Mugabe. And I beg our countries to desist from recognizing the role and the parts that the previous leaderships have played. Each one of us plays a part, and someone else can build on that. Therefore, we shall always remember our senior comrades, the names of Robert Mugabe, Nelson Mandela, you cannot ignore that. Mozambique, our comrade Machel, President Kaunda, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, the hub of the revolution, the frontline state for all the struggles that happened. And currently, we have Mzee Yoweri Museveni, not because he is my president, but the truth is the archive that has information that we need, the decency to lead us through as the African people. I think he is that person. We have other younger presidents who have come up, and the mantle seems to be going on. If only we can focus on African issues to be solved by the Africans themselves, we shall have achieved the Africa that we want. Allow me to mention at this time, when I talked about the regional integration and the trade, the cross-border trade, I cannot forget the AFCFTA. Today, the free trade zone areas of the continent are very important. And women, you are key drivers. You are the most free people to move if at all movement was difficult. At the same time, we don't go alone. We carry our youths with us. We carry our children with us. So where are we lacking on human resource? We cannot be lacking at all. And right now, we have our young diasporians here, designed and supported on IT by our younger generation. Later this evening, I'm meeting with the state of the diaspora. The elders, we are still here. What is missing? It is the mindset. The mindset for Africans to love Africa, do whatever for Africa, do whatever for each other, back to back, in the Ubuntu spirit. Because you are there because we are, and we are here because you are. Therefore, I think I will stop at that note, calling upon all our African people, wherever they are, to please come forward. Come forward. Let us be patriotic enough and concerned to handle our own issues ourselves. We have this slogan where we say, Sisi wenyewe. For those of you who don't understand Swahili, it means we ourselves to handle these issues ourselves. And I love the theme today. You can't go wrong if you empower a woman. You empower a woman, you've empowered the nation and the continent. You have empowered the family. You have backed up the man who might get overstressed sometimes. So, ladies, my young ladies on this team, I want to thank you so much, Maya, and the whole team, Joy. I'm looking forward to meeting every one of you soon. And I bring you greetings from the Pan-African Women Organization members, wherever they are, busy in different events today. But we are very, very grateful that you have been persistent, consistent, and committed. Thank you so much. Aluta continua.
Fantastic, Honorable Grace. That was such a wonderful way to set the tone for the event today. We're celebrating Africa's Women's Day. If you're just joining us, we are streaming in live on YouTube. So please do share across your social media platforms. Get as many people to come in and join in the conversation. As Honorable said, the theme for today's event is Empowered Woman, Empowered Africa. This is what we are going to be talking about throughout today's event. Now, I'd like to introduce our next segment. We get to meet an amazing organization. I'd like to introduce to you all Girls in Tech Nigeria, basically a platform empowering young girls in technology and innovation. Just to give you a brief idea of what Girls in Tech Nigeria is all about. It's a non-profit organization that aims to support and empower women and girls in the technology industry. The organization provides capacity building and skill development programs, mentorship, and also networking opportunities and community building activities for women and girls in Nigeria who are interested in pursuing their careers in the world of technology. Now, Girls in Tech Nigeria advocates for gender equality and inclusion in the tech industry, and is also committed towards building a more diverse and inclusive tech community in Nigeria and beyond Nigeria, really looking at the African continent. So I would like now to introduce to you Ms. Amarchi, who's the president of Girls in Tech Nigeria, and she'll basically introduce the company to us and just, give us more insight into what exactly it is that they're doing. Ms. Amarchi, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really, really honored to be here among so many great ladies and women. And thank you so much, Mama Grace, for that wonderful intro. I learned a lot, I must say. So I'm going to be introducing our organization, Girls in Tech Nigeria. So just like Maya introduced, we are an NGO in Nigeria, and we are here to bring more ladies, more girls into the tech world. So just a little intro. My name is Oyemobi Amarachi. I'm the president of Girls in Tech. An economist by profession, but passionately, I am a full stack developer. I'm also a system administrator and also a certified Splunk admin. So I'm here today to introduce what our organization have been able to do since our inception this year, April. So, okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen. And of course, we are welcoming collaborations and partnerships. So first off, Girls in Tech Nigeria mission. And before I go into the mission of Girls in Tech, I would like to actually talk about how we actually started, how we birthed it. So this actually, right from my journey days, years ago when I stepped into technology, I noticed that in as much as we young girls actually like to join tech, we love the euphoria that comes with joining tech. Most times we don't actually see it to the end. Right? When I actually went through my study as a full stack developer, at the end of it, out of all the students, it was just about 2 ladies that saw it to the end. So that actually is part of what inspired what we have today. So we have some visionaries that we are going to be mentioning that is actually part of what we do. But one of our mission in Girls in Tech Nigeria is to empower and support women and girls in the technology industry. And also, we are here to bring in more girls into the tech industry. Apart from our mission, also, we have our vision, which number 1 is to create a thriving and inclusive tech ecosystem in Nigeria, where women and girls can fully participate and thrive. So Girls in Tech Nigeria envision a future where women and girls have equal opportunities and representation in the tech industry, and where they are supported and empowered to succeed. I mean, we all have to imagine it's a future where we have young girls together, they are front-end developers. We have young girls together, they are back-end developers. We have young girls together, they are full-stack developers. We have graphic designers who are girls. So part of what we do is pulling ourselves together. We know it's not easy, especially with the world we live in, that see women as you go to work, manage the home, and all that. But we want to hold ourselves together. Even when we agree that it might not be easy, we want to talk to ourselves, hold our hands while we walk this path of achieving and breaking barriers in the tech industry. Another one of our vision is to inspire, educate, and equip women and girls in Nigeria to become leaders and innovators in the tech industry. We actually started our summer program, our spring program in April, which saw some graduating ladies in different technology paths. We did that for 3 months, and recently also we started our summer program, which is also ongoing, and we are actually gradually coming to where we are having teams of women that are doing great things in tech. So Girls in Tech Nigeria also aims to create a culture of mentorship and collaboration that supports women and girls in pursuing that passion and achieving their goals in the tech industry. So just to also say, we also try to catch them young, right? So a lady of 25 to 30 might have different responsibilities that she might think, oh, this will weigh me down. We ask you to join us. We are going to hold our hands to do great things, but we're also calling on even young girls from the ages of 12 above. So young girls that are 12, they will have lesser responsibility, and with that, we believe that they are going to dedicate more. And by the time they are growing with that, they are actually growing professionally and actually sticking to the path. So that is also part of our vision in Girls in Tech Nigeria. Also, we aim to drive economic growth and social change in Nigeria. The organization believes that empowering women and girls in technology can help to create new opportunities for economic development and job creation, as well as promoting gender equality and social inclusion. Overall, the vision of Girls in Tech Nigeria is to create a more inclusive and equitable tech ecosystem in Nigeria that values and supports women and girls in technology and leverages their unique perspective and talent to drive innovations and growth. So we are calling on every one of us here, please join us as we try to make this happen. And this junction, I'm also going to invite our Director of Publicity in the person of Miss Odera Otaru. So she's going to take it from me where I stop, and she's going to be talking about our objective and part of what we have achieved in Girls in Tech. Thank you so much, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good day, everyone, from wherever you are tuning in from. My name is Odera Otaru. I am the Director of Publicity Girls in Tech Nigeria. And this is a very wonderful opportunity to be here. Thanks to the moderators and everyone that has put this show together. It is a great honor to be here. I'm not going to go into much. I'm just going to introduce myself really shortly. I am a radio presenter. That is my job. That is my career path. However, just like the people in the forefront of Girls in Tech Nigeria, we all share a same passion, which is tech. Ways to drive technology forward and ways to bring opportunities of technology, the opportunities that exist in technology to the girls, the young girls, the women, the children, the girl child in Nigeria. Overall, we have objectives that focus on empowering and supporting women and girls in the tech industry, promoting gender equality and social inclusion, and driving innovation and growth in the tech ecosystem. We've outlined 8 of our objectives that we hope to achieve, and we are achieving in some of these objectives in the near future. So to provide education and training to women and girls in Nigeria who are interested in pursuing careers in technology. One thing we say is the prerequisites to joining is, aside your gadget, which is your laptop, because you have to do practicals, and then your internet connection, we do not ask a dime. All we need is your drive, your perseverance, and the assurance that you are going to start up, show up, and follow through. That is really our slogan. It cuts across all classes. Just show up and follow through. We also promote gender equality and social inclusion in the tech industry in Nigeria. We realize that there is a gender pay gap, although this cuts across other fields of careers. It's not necessarily streamlined to tech alone, but the gender pay gap is a thing that has greatly discouraged women from tech, right? Because you see women who say they are doing the same amount of hours, the same job description as their male counterparts. And then they find out 6 months, 7 months, sometimes years down the line in that same company that their male counterparts are earning more than they do, right? So what we do is situations whereby we hold talks, we hold seminars that also buttress your confidence such that you can step out there and demand your worth. It's also part of what we do. We create supportive and inclusive community of women in tech in Nigeria. We also promote awareness of the importance of diversity and inclusion in the tech industry in Nigeria. There are so many women out there who are not aware of the possibilities, of the opportunities that are in tech. They're not aware of what can be discovered in the world of tech. And this is no fault of theirs. Yes, some are aware that there's so much going on in tech, and they may have some level of interest, but some genuinely are not. And so we bring this awareness to you, and we put this on a tray in front of you, and we show you these are the different opportunities, these are the different career paths, these are the different skills that you can acquire, that they are possible. And these days, we thank God for technology. Location is really not a barrier anymore. Some of us live in Nigeria. We do remote jobs from all over the world. There is that inclusiveness in the tech world. And so nothing should really stop you if you are aware of what is there. And that is one of the things that we currently hope to achieve, to partner with other organizations and stakeholders to achieve common goals related to women and girls in tech in Nigeria. The AWD and Girls in Tech Partnership speaks as a testament to that particular objective. We hope to advocate for policies and initiatives that support women and girls in tech in Nigeria. Also to promote innovation and entrepreneurship among women and girls in tech in Nigeria, to provide mentorship and networking opportunities to women and girls in tech in Nigeria. Now, when it comes to this last objective, it is very important that we note that here in Girls in Tech, while we acknowledge that acquiring a tech skill is one of the core objectives of you joining, we do not downplay the importance of community building. As a matter of fact, to us in Girls in Tech, they are balanced. It's equally as important as the tech skill acquisition itself, because we realize that as women, it is not particularly the best of things to be isolated. So it's not just a function of these young ladies or these young women or these women joining our organizations, joining our classes, and just taking classes and going home, maybe doing the assignments or projects that have been meted out to them. It's a function of understanding that you have a community that you can fall back on. And we take this very, very serious. It's one of the very, very core objectives that we take very serious as the leaders in the organization, as the executives, as the presidents, as the directors, as the trustees, and the members themselves. We have a close-knit family, which we hope to grow very soon in the future. So I'm just going to the next slide, please. I'm going to run through what we have achieved so far. Now, you should note that Girls in Tech Nigeria is still in the baby stage. We just started this year, a few months ago, as a matter of fact. And in that time, we have completed our spring program, through which we graduated over 50 students in all of the programs that we had. We had 4 programs in total. We had the computer appreciation program, the front-end web development program, the graphics design, and the UI UX program. We started with numbers that were larger than 50, but we were able to have 50 beautiful, bright, and persevering young women who saw it through to the end. And as women ourselves who have gone through that journey, we can tell you that it is not an easy feat to achieve. And so we are very, very proud of that feat. Inception was April this year. So in less than 3 months, or in just over 3 months, we've been able to achieve this. We also have a bi-monthly Instagram session where we invite different mentors from different fields and women from all walks of life, such as the tech world, the business world, the mental health. And last week, Saturday, or this Saturday that just passed us by, our guest was a TED Talk alumnus, and she spoke to us about what it is to take charge as a woman. And we use this as a medium to send invitations to our Instagram channel, whereby you will be kept abreast of information on when we're going to be having these sessions. We've also been able to achieve a partnership with AWD to celebrate this year's Africa Women's Day celebration, where we had a collaboration. When we started this, as the facilitators when we were coining out how we wanted to achieve the graduation process of the members of the women that signed up. We usually do have a project, a collaborative piece. And so this collaboration with Africa's Women's Day really just, it was a eureka moment for us, really, because it was the perfect way to execute what we have been able to achieve to the whole world. And it was a collaboration of the UI UX program. They created the template for the website designing, which was executed and built by the front end class. The graphics design class have created the graphics, which have been running on our social medias as we speak all month. So all those graphics designs that have brought out information about our Women of the Day have been executed by the members of our graphics design class. So these are just some of the things that we have put out there to showcase what we have achieved in Girls in Tech Nigeria. And we've also been able to achieve different outreach programs, which involved the organization. Sorry, I wasn't done with that. Thank you. Which involves the organization going to Fini markets and Mile 1 markets. These markets are located in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. And the outreach program was aimed at educating women on how to spot scammers, how scammers operate, because well, these are not women that are really necessarily computer literate, right? So you can imagine the kind of interaction that entailed. So we had to train them on how to spot how scammers operate and how to prevent themselves from being victims or falling prey to these tactics. And we believe that through this outreach, it's not particularly easy for very many people who are not computer literate to trust what their children are going to be doing online. For example, a woman who doesn't understand that there are these opportunities in tech might not understand when her 15-year-old daughter says she would like a laptop, she would want to register for this class because she has no clue about what it is. And her fear, maybe she might, be fall into the wrong hands or start doing things that she's not supposed to do, might hinder the progress of that young child. And so this outreach was just an initiative to have these women spread the word for us at grassroots level, right? Spread the word for us, encourage their daughters themselves so that there isn't any friction when we have willing girls, but unwilling parents or mothers. So that is what we have been able to achieve since April this year. I'm going to hand over now to the Director of Operations, Ms. Adeze Ebudine, to take us through some of, next page please, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that we have managed to infuse into our mission and vision of Girls in Tech Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Dara, Director of Publicity. Good evening, Excellencies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols duly observed. My name is Ms. Adeze Abigail Ebunine, and I am privileged to be the Director of Operations for Girls in Tech Nigeria, and also by passion, a graphic designer and the graphic design facilitator for Girls in Tech. So just carrying on from where my Director of Publicity stopped, just like she mentioned, the Girls in Tech Nigeria is committed to aligning our efforts with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 4, which is quality education, Goals 5, which is gender equality, and Goals 10, which we'll see later on, which is reducing inequalities. And if I might also mention that we're also committed to supporting the goals of the African Union as well, goals, precisely Goal 17, which also borders around empowerment for women towards the agenda for 2063. So just as we can see here, Girls in Tech Nigeria recognizes that access to education should be equal to everyone. And regardless of your gender or your status or your location, this shouldn't be a hindrance to you getting access to the right education. And we're all up for that here at Girls in Tech. We are very, very excited to do this. Just like Ms. Vera had mentioned, this is something that we do out of passion, and we're hoping that it's going to yield the desired results. If we just move on to the next slide, please. So yes, so still on the topic of quality education, we talked about infrastructure. Now moving on to goal 5, gender equality. In Nigeria, as in other countries, women and girls have faced various forms of discrimination, limited access to education and economic opportunities, as well as unequal representation. These disparities hinder the progress of the nation as a whole and prevents the full realization of the potential of half of the population. Because as we have heard from our mother, Honorable Grace Kaybayo, she did mention that you can never go wrong if you empower a woman. It's a ripple effect. So here at Girls in Tech Nigeria, we are very big on ensuring that the gap is closed in terms of gender equality. Moving on to the next slide. So we're still, we're now on goal 10, which is reduce inequalities. Girls in Tech Nigeria here, we focus on providing skills, development, and training programs to undeserved communities. So we try to reach out to, it doesn't matter, like I mentioned earlier on, it doesn't matter your background or where you come from. It's not a case of how much do you have or what class you belong to. We believe that everybody should get the same opportunity. And if I might also add that for our generation, we have been gifted something amazing through technology. I'm able to be on this platform today, right now, because of the skill that I have in graphic design. So we cannot stress enough the importance of young women, even older women, joining, or embracing technology. It's very, very important because these skills open more doors to you. And just to round it up, because I want to believe that I believe that my president and my director of publicity have spoken a lot. Our Honorable Madam Grace Kaybayo also mentioned that we can't run women programs without the men. So I really want to also mention that Girls in Tech Nigeria we have solid men behind us. Our fathers like Mr. Ubi Nawachukwu, they're too numerous to mention. The men behind the scene who are supporting us. So also here at Girls in Tech, in as much as we're all about empowering women, young girls, we're also big on also recognizing the efforts of, our fathers and our brothers who also support us in their own way. So finally, still on goal 10, partnerships and collaborations, just like we have mentioned, we're committed to also reducing inequalities by aligning with the United Nations goal 10 through gender-focused initiatives. And if I may mention also that we have our launch coming up very soon. And through this, we look forward to putting what we're doing more out there. This platform has given us this opportunity as Women's Day platform. And through our launch, we're equally looking forward to showing the world more what we have in store for Girls in Tech Nigeria. And so we advocate and we hope that we contribute significantly towards the empowerment of women through what we're doing here at Girls in Tech. So I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity, and we're honored to be a part of this. Thank you very much. I'll hand it over back to our beautiful presenter, Ms. Maya. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies, for that. And for those who have just joined us, welcome to this very amazing event so far. I'm just loving what I'm seeing right now on the chat box. Everybody's chatting in from different places across the globe. Thank you all for your comments. And also, this is such a great opportunity for you all to network as well. So feel free to put down your contacts in there as well. I've also seen some questions on the chat box. Keep them coming. We will definitely keep those in mind when we have our panel discussion in just a few minutes. It's just brilliant to see what Girls in Tech Nigeria have been able to do in empowering women and young girls in the field of technology, inspiring them to join on board, raising awareness about the opportunities that they have, and really contributing to making a significant difference in shaping the future of women in tech. So you can actually support their initiative, support some of the things that they've been doing. You can go onto their website, and there's also a donation link, which I believe Joy is going to be posting on the chat box right now. It should pop up in the chat box. You can also get more information about today's Africa's Women's Day on our website. Our official website is www.africaswomensday.africa. And you can also learn more about Girls in Tech by visiting their website, www.girlstechinafrica.org. If you're interested as well in partnering with Africa's Women's Day or sponsoring the organization sponsoring this event, which is going to be annual, please do reach out to us on our email at africawomensday@gmail.com. And I believe that together we can create meaningful change and empower women across Africa. Now, we are now going to go over to our next segment, which is for some entertainment to sort of help us celebrate the spirit and creativity of African women, African leaders, African CEOs who exemplify empowered individuals, paving the way for an empowered Africa. Please enjoy the performances that embody the theme Empowered Woman, Empowered Africa. All right. Let's move on over to our next segment. Our next speaker will shed light on the importance of investing in women for driving economic growth and sustainable development in Africa. By empowering women, we empower Africa as a whole. And that plays a huge role as well in pushing forward economic growth across the continent. I'd like to introduce to you all Ms. Kawawa. She is an accomplished entrepreneur, a speaker, and expert in transformational leadership with a strong focus, of course, on youth and women economic empowerment. She brings over 15 years of experience in both the public and the private management and is a winner of several prestigious awards. Ms. Kawawa is also actively involved in numerous organizations that champion women empowerment and innovation, which includes Women Arise of Africa, and New Faces, New Voices, Gracia, Michelle Trust Network, among others. With her extensive board service and memberships in various business platforms and chambers, such as the East African Women in Business Platform and the Tanzania Chamber of Commerce Agriculture, Ms. Kawawa has consistently advocated for women's inclusion in leadership and the development of the private sector in Africa and even beyond. We are privileged and honored to have Ms. Emma Kawawa with us today. She's here to shed some insights and expertise on promoting women empowerment and driving economic growth. Madam Emma Kawawa, over to you.
Good evening to all sisters on call. I bring greetings from Tanzania, greetings from our sisters, and I'm happy Pan-African Women's Day as we all celebrate this day, this great day. First of all, I would like to appreciate and recognize Honorable Madam, she's left, I think, Madam Kaybayo from Uganda, who is the Secretary General from Uganda, and I appreciate all the members who came on call today. As you said, my introduction has been done. I will call myself a leader without a title. That is what I like to call myself. Well, speaking after the first speaker, the first guest of honor, is a bit limited to what I'm supposed to say about Pan-African, because she has given a vast introduction on Pan-African Women's Day, how it started, the movement, and who are involved, the countries which are involved, and it's still continuing. Means that we are still struggling to do the women empowerment, as said before. Well, I'm passionate about women empowerment. As I speak to you, I stand here talking about the position of African women as drivers of social and economic change, who shape agendas and occupy center stage in addressing the development challenges of Africa. It is where we need platforms such as this for showcasing the diversity of African women by bringing together women from different professional backgrounds, regions, ages, experience levels, and conversation. I underscore what she said earlier, the need of having norms which are compatible to today's world, to invest in norms which can be carried forward. This is what we're missing. That's what Madam Kaybayo has mentioned. We create space for African women to talk among themselves. We share stories. We celebrate achievements. We learn experiences from others. We need the power, the trust, the togetherness. Preeminent women in business, along with selected leaders of both government, private sector, philanthropy, academic, civil societies, thought leaders should come together to work on this women economic advancement and promote social change. In keeping in what we do every day, I'm glad to be on this platform as Madam Joyce, the convener, brought us together, women leaders with the same thoughts, with the same motto, with the same movement, but coming from different angles. I believe with a mix of participants from intergenerational exchanges and dialogues, the profile and successful of women of all ages is remarkable, from our sisters, from the old, from the founders, and to what we have today. It is both visible and invisible. By doing this, I think this is the right time to remind ourselves of this day, this great day, the Pan-African Women's Day. As we speak, Pan-African Women's Day is more about loving our country, loving ourselves, loving our sisters, loving each other, sharing each other. She underscored a lot of things like peace and and peace and security. She underscored about agriculture. She underscored about health and education. She underscored about us working together. This cannot be left aside. As for driving this kind of driving social and economic transformation, we need to have a strong economic focus and address the challenges and opportunities women face in economic sphere. We advocate for social change. We advocate for social justice, and we advocate for women financial inclusion. Without finance, we cannot move. Today, as we speak, women constitute 70% who are financially excluded. We need to speak more, and not to speak less and to act more. I stand here leading an organization called Tanzania Women CEOs Roundtable, together with other organizations. I still see the need of women coming closer to each other. What Joyce is conveying today is what we need to see more. Speak about what we can do together and start doing it. This is an example of collaboration. She brought different people from different players, from different countries, to speak about what we need to do. We need economic transformation. Into economic transformation will come strongly when women believe women contributions they're not underestimated, they're not undervalued, and they're not underutilized. Thus, strong voices of women, strong voices of African women coming together, planning together, working together, collaborating, sharing, and engaging each other, I believe this is where we'll start. As she said, we can take the old norms where it was trading by barter change, or we can take the new ones, but in a very simple way. We need to do our own, we need to tailor our own ways. We spoke about women in Africa, women in manufacturing. This is a lot, but we should not underrepresent the women in extractive industries, in information, in communication and technology, infrastructure and energy. We have a lot in our countries. We have minerals, we have mining, women in mining, we have women in health, we have women in energy. But the role we play, I believe we're not harnessing each other. We need to come closer. There's some countries produce less, there's some countries produce more. But if we combine together with the value addition, not for only raw materials, but with value addition, I believe we can do wonders within this continent. Yes, you're in West Africa. Some are in South Africa, some in West, and some in the East, but we can come together and work together. We do have, our leaders have made a policy and even signed a contract of AFCA of trade within the continent. What are we women doing on ground? I think this is the time we need to sit down together and start planning our own way of doing it, because we know how the women are working. Women are running around with baskets on their heads. Women are running from one border to another border with bags and carriers, but we need to change this. We need to embrace technology, as the young girls spoke just now. Technology is the way to go. If we don't embrace technology, we cannot move. We saw COVID. COVID gave us many lessons. COVID reminded us about the priority of our health. You cannot move if you're not healthy, you cannot do business. COVID gave us a lot of issues where we didn't know what to do. For example, we were trading by beating each other physically, but now we have learned that we can do business online. As the girl of Girl Tech in Nigeria has spoken, we do the same here in Tanzania. We do have tech embraced here, and we have a big crowd of girls doing this, especially the ones just finishing college are running that. But as women, you know, some are they're intellectuals and some are not, did not go to school. So how do we carry these women together with us? And that's how the Pan-Africanism comes up. We need to carry each other. We need to work together. We need to love each other. We need the sisterhood should come back. We are all Africans. We need each other. Whether you're up or whether you're down, we still need each other. You cannot be up if you don't want to trade with us. Where would you get the raw materials if you don't deal with the farmers? You can be down, but you cannot sell if you don't have somebody who's going to do the sales. So we need each other. As I speak today about the Pan-Africanism, again, I repeat and underscore this. It comes from my heart. I say that we need more women to be active. Let's pull more women to be working with us. It shouldn't be only few of us. When we are more, or when we are many, when we are thousands, when we are millions, we can transform this. But when we are very few, it does not work. I would sit here and say that it's high time we should do more impactful events. When I say impactful events, with targets. For example, we can call a meeting, as some have been doing it, not all, call a meeting in the suburb area, even in the regions below, and say that we want to come and buy. It's an African trade show and expo on agriculture. And we bring women from all over Africa so that they can trade together. They can know what's happening on ground. I'm sure somebody down in Mali, in one of the suburbs, to know what is happening in town, in the city, is not easy. Because we need information, you need to have technology, you need to have a phone to get all what is happening and to do the business. Apart from that, you need to have the ways of doing the business. So I think when we have these multinational organizations, such as donors, funders, including AU, they should bring us together. We should start working together. Women, we're working on silos. We have many organizations in Africa. We do have many women organizations. I'm talking about the NGOs, CSOs, and the entrepreneurial organizations. We're not working together. We're working on silos. And this brings an image that we are competing. We shouldn't do that. We should have things that we collaborate, and we should have things which we cooperate. Yes, I hear you very clear. The issue, the key bone and the skeleton, and the most important thing is funding. How can we get the fundings? How can we get the fundings? So this is where I say we need to bring the funders together so that they can do the funding on the way the women can be accessible to the funding. And this is an example of what Mama Gracia Machel is doing in South Africa, in a network, Gracia Machel Trust. They are trying to we are speaking to the stakeholders, trying to tell them, no projects, nothing, whether it's agriculture, whether it's manufacturing, whether it is mining, without funding, women will not be in the state. So this is a thing we need to speak and talk to each other. How do we help each other? For example, as she spoke about the finance, crossing the border and having to change money and you lose some money in between. Not everybody is capable of doing that. I stand here again and I say, women, women, women. It has been more than a decade. We're speaking about women empowerment. We're speaking about women movement. We're speaking about all this empowerment, socioeconomic empowerment. How do we change this? This is the how. And give us a time for it, a time frame for it, so that we can have a measurement that we have been successful or not. Yes, many women are doing business. Many women have scale up. Yes, but it's not all. It's not enough. As we speak, we should, as she spoke earlier, about the patriotic loving Africans, Africans for Africans, women empowering women. This is most important for us. Let us sit down and see how we can scrabble up or make a program where women support other women. This is the way we go. We have a man behind us. We cannot leave him aside. We need them to support us. Yes, but we need to show them the way to do it, because they'll support on what we envisage or what we plan to do. And then last, I would like to underscore the most important things which we need to do. Us as women leaders, skills and develop. Skills is very important. We cannot do the business as usual. We need to change our ways of doing business. We need to change our mindsets. We need to change our mindsets, because if we do the way we do, we'll never grow. There'll be no growth. We need to change our mindset and start incorporating others. We need to invest on skills, because most of us think money is on selling, buying and selling. No, we need to invest on skills. Go for trainings. Let's train the women. Go for mentorship. Go for skills development. Go for all that which is good for us. And I'll repeat, working together to strengthen human capital is employability and it is competitiveness. We need to work together. The new steps in entrepreneurship, innovations, and digital change is access to right information and knowledge. No knowledge, not right information, you get the wrong way. Women are playing an integral role in the society, whether in whether it is related to business or household-based business acumen. For women entrepreneurs, digital technology has an edge and a game changer. We need to do that. You have to have digital technology, communication, collecting information, and making decisions at business level, which could be beneficial for society and help developing the economic status of our countries. We need more women entrepreneurship programs. We need more women leadership programs. We need more about the mindset change, because we are speaking to ourselves. We are leaders here. Most of us are capable of coming to this Zoom meeting. As others are not there, we should work more on bringing other women on board. This will be the best way to achieve our goals. Last but not least, I would just like to say, I will not be fair if I don't thank Joyce for bringing this meeting. Joyce has been communicating with her more than 5 years now, since I think COVID time and before. And I would say that this is what we need. More women working together. It is expensive to travel, we understand, but talking together and to know each other, who's doing what in another angle or another corner of the country or continent, is better. It can be done by Zoom meeting. I would urge women, let us have more meetings of this sort, not only on the Pan-African Women Day, but frequently, maybe every after 1 month, to remind ourselves. We need to be reminded, because sometimes our parents, I'm coming from the old school, they used to sit down with us and tell us stories about the past, the liberation movement. They'll tell us about how they made their journey to reach where they have reached. But unfortunately, the new generation is not there. We need this. We need this because being from an old school, we still have an experience to share. You can have all the gadgets, you can have all the professionalism, you can have all the schools, but there's a school of experience, which is not easy to get. Let's embrace the old people, all the old school who are still able to talk, teach, or even share their experiences so that we can know where to navigate. I'll finish by saying, women, we are powerful. Women are blessed. Women are leaders by birth. What is all needed is just to hold hands to each other and we move forward. If we don't hold each other, we cannot move. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Just a message that resonates across from what I'm seeing on the chat box, which is all about collaboration and how we need to move together as a unit. And even just, encouraging men to be a part of this movement. So I'd like to see all our men out there. If you've joined on this call, please do just write a comment there on the chat box. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody on behalf of the team for joining us. I'd like to give a few shout outs here because we have people joining us from across the globe. We have here Professor Ngozi, who joins us from the University of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. I see that Morocco is in the house. We have Natalia, who's joining us from Namibia. We have some people who are joining us virtually from the US. Thank you. I see some people from Uganda as well. Maggie. Yeah, so keep on sending in those comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you'd like us to address, and even for future themes and future celebrations, what you'd like us to cover. So I'd like now for us to move to our next segment of the program, which is our panel discussion. Our theme for our panel discussion is inspiring the next generation of African leaders. We're seeing amazing things that women are doing today. We've heard from some of our speakers on some of the initiatives that they have been able to forge forward. But we're now also looking at how can we keep this momentum going? How can we ensure that our next generation of female leaders have exactly what they need to be able to take us to that next level, and through entrepreneurship and through innovation. So I'd like to introduce to you our three incredible speakers who will be joining us. If you can just turn on your cameras for the panel discussion. We have Lumbie Mlambo from Zimbabwe, who is the founder and CEO of JB Dondolo. She is a computer science and mathematics graduate from Indiana University and Texas Women's University. She's the Global Goals Ambassador and co-founder of JB Dondolo, and has dedicated her life to empowering women and providing access to clean water, sanitation, and hygiene. Her exceptional work earned her the prestigious UN Global Leadership Award for Clean Water and Sanitation. And a really lovely quote from her is this. She said this: never be someone that you're not. Never go into something that you're not passionate about. Never underestimate the role of a woman in this society. If you can't start something of your own, support someone else's initiative by either donating your time, your services, or knowledge. Just know that no matter how small you think your effort or contribution is, it makes a big impact somewhere. I thought that was just an incredible quote that I wanted to bring out there. So welcome. And then we also have Dr. Naike Moshi from Tanzania. She's the founder and CEO of Women in Management Africa. She is a dynamic and passionate leader dedicated to bringing the gender gap and empowering women in Africa, recognizing the need for spaces where women can connect, where women can grow. Through her tireless efforts, she aims to empower women to overcome challenges, achieve work-life balance, which is something I always wonder why we only ask women how to balance work and life. Why don't we ever ask men that? How do they balance work and life and also build successful careers? Her vision extends beyond Tanzania as she plans to expand WIMA to other African countries, spreading the message of gender equality and empowerment. Her unwavering commitment and determination exemplifies her strength and innovation in driving positive socio-economic change. And finally, we also have with us Dr. Louisa Akaiso from Nigeria, who's the founder and CEO of Women Who Win Africa. She's a recipient of the esteemed Presidential Lifetime Award. She also plays a remarkable role in Africa's development through community-based initiatives, with a master's degree in interdisciplinary studies focusing on gender development. She's also continuously all about equipping, empowering, educating, and engaging young African women through her Lead Hership Refined Academy. Notably, she collaborates with women political advocates and activists to bridge the gender gap in political leadership, utilizing mentorship, advocacy, community campaigns, and comprehensive training. She's also a catalyst for progress and a catalyst for change in Africa. Right, ladies, so welcome to the panel discussion. I'll begin with you, Madame Mlambo, because the theme of this discussion is really looking at how we can inspire the next generation of young leaders, of young female leaders and entrepreneurs and innovators. We want to know what really inspired you and this particular generation being you. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur, for you to really, you know, pursue your visions and pursue your dreams, and how has your journey shaped your vision for the next generation of young leaders in Africa?
Thank you so much, Maya. I'm really excited to be here. You know, I'm going to get straight to the question. Thank you so much for that introduction, by the way. It's amazing. So what inspired me were my parents. But I have to say that my life is profoundly influenced by my mother, especially when it comes to loving myself, knowing myself, owning my actions, and most importantly, avoiding gossip in order to be resilient and propel myself towards like making a positive impact on the world. My father inspired me to become an entrepreneur and founder of my own organization that I named after him, called JB Dondolo. As an orphan himself, I've always admired the man that he was. He loved people of all kinds and cared for his community, especially paying attention to women's needs, and taking matters into his own hands to ensure that women were respected, had the basic necessities, and had the dignified life. So to summarize it all, both my parents ignited this flame in me, flame of resilience, which led to a journey of being an entrepreneur with a big vision for Africa, for African women and girls. Hence my name, which is my new name. They call me the Water Lady, because millions of women and girls in Africa spend the entire day and cannot improve their lives without water. So therefore, there cannot be any development in their communities, and there's no African leaders of tomorrow. This is something that we're addressing here today. So thank you for that question.
I really love your answer in that you spoke about the inspiration that you got, not just from your mother, but from your father, because one of our speakers talked about this not just being something that women need to be a part of, but also men need to be a part of in supporting the initiatives and supporting female entrepreneurs, and that men too have a role to play when it comes to pushing gender equality and ensuring that women do have access and the tools that they need to grow their businesses. I'd like now to cross over to Dr. Moshi. Now, we often hear about the importance of mentorship in business and leadership. How have mentors played a role to your growth as an entrepreneur? And how then do you pass this on to the next generation of female entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much, Maya, for the opportunity. Mentorship has played a great role in my life. I don't think I'll be where I am without mentors. And I think even still within my journey, I believe in mentorship and coaching. And through our initiative, WIMA, Women in Management Africa, to promote gender balance in boards and leadership roles, we have a mentorship program that assists young women leaders to attain leadership positions. And we believe mentorship is a very critical role for the young women. And what we do with women, we connect these women leaders to the young women. And we've seen significant change happening through this mentorship program. First of all, the young women are gaining confidence. Now they have the role models, people who they can look up to, but also they're finding a safe space where they can, talk about their challenges, but also know that, I'm not facing this alone. There is another woman who has been through this. No longer is it my challenge, but also other people have come through those challenges. Yeah, thank you.
I love that. It really is about knowing that you're not the first person to go through all of these challenges, and being able to see that women have gone through these challenges, have overcome, and have gone on to be successful is something that we can all relate to and helps us gain some confidence. Dr. Akaiso, when we were discussing, when we were sort of like brainstorming what this panel discussion should be all about, and the theme being how do you inspire the next generation of female leaders, one of the things that came out strongly from you is that we are not going to be able to inspire the next generation if we don't have representation, if we don't have enough women in this actual space. So in that sense, how do you think that we can achieve greater representation with women so that we actually have the women out there to be able to inspire and lead the next generation of female leaders, of female entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much for that question. I'm really happy and honored to be here. Of course, the theme of this discussion, I believe, is very timely and extremely relevant. It's something that brings joy to me. Inspiring the next generation of African women, and why I think women must be represented. Many a times, I believe that those who are behind us look unto us for lessons, for strategies, to help them navigate their leadership ambitions. It is important, first of all, for us to be able to lead excellently. It's very important. We must lead excellently. We must be focused on providing a solution. The world does need a lot of solution. The young people are very much solution driven. And in order for us to be able to inspire them, we must provide what they need. Another thing that I want to mention here, and my sister, Dr. Naike, talked about that, is we must be ready to deliberately mentor them. Sometimes a lot of people try to keep away from that. While we are great leaders, we have a lot of great leaders, but we must be able to look forward to helping guide them along, whatever pathway that they're going through. Now, looking at why it's so important for us to increase women's representation, how can we do that? I think the first thing I would love to say is that we have to be intentional. We just have to be intentional in opening up the spaces for more women leaders. We have to believe in women. We must believe that women can be leaders and are great leaders or change makers or solution givers. We must believe in women. We must be able to nurture women. I love to see the girls in tech doing the work that they're doing from a younger generation. We have to pay more attention to the girls. Sometimes we say that girls are leaders of tomorrow, but I love to say they are leaders of today. And how can we nurture them? It's really true. Mentorship is really true, providing more platforms for leadership development. When we look at women in Africa and how hungry we are to get to increase the numbers in representation, I think that a major problem that we have is in capacity. So how can we do that? And that's what we do in Women Who Win Africa. Of course, we're providing a lot more platforms that empowers the African woman to increase her leadership development. How can she lead? What does she need to lead? So I believe that those are some of the things that we can do. And of course, include more male allies. The male, part of our organization or our country or continent must be part of what we're doing. We have to involve more men in our spaces. It can't just be women alone talking. It hasn't worked. We've tried. We have to include the male. They have to get involved with whatever that we're doing. So this and much more would help us, to increase representation of women. Thank you so much.
Okay, fantastic. I'd like us to delve a little bit deeper on this whole idea of mentorship and what mentorship actually looks like. What does it actually mean when you talk about mentorship? So, Madam Mlambo, if you'd like to expound on that a little bit more and just share with us the ways in which you are practically and actively mentoring and supporting young aspiring female entrepreneurs in Africa. And also for, the entrepreneurs, the aspiring entrepreneurs that are joining us right now, what advice would you give them as they embark on their entrepreneurial journeys?
Oh, absolutely. I support women and girls who lack access to clean water in the rural parts of Zimbabwe. My organization, JP Dondolo, intentionally places water systems within their communities so they don't have to walk far. So we are cutting down the 10 hours they spend a day to less than 10 minutes a day. And by doing so, we're giving them back their precious time so that they can advance their lives. And women have the opportunity to attain income earning skills and become entrepreneurs themselves. And with the availability of water, we know there's also availability of period hygiene management and administration. So girls don't get to skip school, but they attend school throughout the year, which I think is what everybody's looking forward to getting these girls back in school so they can have the training and skills that they need to advance. We also have our flagship program called the Water Impact Internship Program, TWIP. This is a global program, by the way. This immersive program has been designed to help us cultivate leadership skills in aspiring young entrepreneurs, to help them, sorry about that, to help them and to help our interns to better understand the true value of community involvement. By nurturing their community and tomorrow's leaders, we can empower the young people to actively enhance the local initiatives and speak out against the issues that directly impact the communities. Because without them, it's kind of hard for us to know what the future looks like. You know, we need the young people, we need the young entrepreneurs to be well-groomed and ready for tomorrow. That's what I'm doing to make sure that I'm mentoring and also making sure that these people that I'm mentoring are ready for tomorrow to tackle the complex problems that we keep running into. Thank you for that question.
I love that. And even in you giving your example, when you are tackling one issue, water and sanitation, you don't realize how that has a ripple effect on really, literally all other aspects of life, or all other aspects of, different industries. And by just tackling that one issue, you have solved essentially 10 other problems. So thank you for sharing that example with us. Dr. Moshi, for you, how do you envision entrepreneurship and innovation playing a pivotal role in empowering young African women to pursue leadership roles and make a positive impact in their own communities?
Yeah, I think entrepreneurship plays a big role. Us as African women, we have studied entrepreneurship at very far back. We have started trading very far back. And I believe it's always about buying and selling for us. We're always selling something. And even women, we are always selling something. We're using our platform, our education, our services to do all that. And I think entrepreneurship plays a big role. First of all, through economic empowerment. We believe that when a woman is a good entrepreneur, she's going to be economically sound. And I believe that once she's able to do that, she can be able to empower other people. And even through entrepreneurship, it comes with many lessons and challenges. And I believe through that, women are able to learn, women are able to network. I've seen so many women entrepreneurs, the amount of knowledge that they have. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. This is for the people who want to experience big things. And through that comes with many lessons, but also it offers many benefits. Women, we're looking for freedom. We're looking for freedom of our time. And I believe entrepreneurship can give us that access, to use our time wisely, but also it can give us access to networks that we never thought of, but also access to markets. The world has moved to a very digital platform, and we're also connected. I believe entrepreneurship gives us that platform. So I would highly encourage female entrepreneur, to think about that path, because it's not an easy path, but it can lead to many benefits. And I think the world, or even our countries, could benefit a lot by having a lot of female entrepreneurs, because we have seen that unemployment is on the rise, and women, we still have to support our families. And how do we do that? We do go back to the basics, which is we become entrepreneurs. We sell, we make money, we support our family. Thank you, Maya.
Oh, sorry, I was muted there. No, I absolutely love that you bring out the aspect of how entrepreneurship can also be that vehicle, and that that opportunity for women to take control of their times, because we all know that formal employment, a lot of women face a lot of issues when it comes to that balance between the family and work environment. But essentially, by taking entrepreneurship into their own hands, they take the power back and are able to find a good balance between work and family, and also be able to provide for families as well. And Dr. Akaiso, we look at all of this buzz that's talking about the Africa's startup ecosystem, which is evolving rapidly. Africa attracting all these billions of dollars when it comes to the support of startups. What trends do you see in emerging African entrepreneurship and innovation markets, and how can young female leaders and entrepreneurs capitalize on some of these opportunities?
Thank you so much for that question, Maya. I do believe that there are several trends that we have to look into, some of which are, for example, artificial intelligence. Many startups, are tapping into that power of technology in order for them to remain afloat. It's important that the African entrepreneurs be able to access market opportunities using technology. And I also would encourage that the young female leaders try to invest in themselves and nurture their leadership skills. It is still very important, even in staying afloat in the work environment. Another thing that brings me a lot of joy and is an opportunity for them would be to tap into intentional networking through using technology or even using social media. That's one of the gifts that COVID gave to us. We have been able to use technology or technological innovations to be able to connect with the right people, to be able to partner with other people to build strategic collaborations so we can leverage more of these social networks and be able to get the right support behind you. I would also encourage that we should pay more attention to skill building. I'm not saying that education is not important, but when we have a look at female leaders, women do a lot more hands-on. We do know that women are pretty good when it comes to skills, and skills have proven to us lately to be a lot more profitable. So women can get so much more. I think the civil society and organizations can provide a lot more platforms for them to be equipped, through skills. And something else I would love to mention is with trade and export. They can also leverage technology to access opportunities for trade, opportunities for exports with people in several countries. Thank you so much for that question, Maya.
Oh, you brought out two very important things. AI, everyone's talking about AI, right? And whether that's going to take over our jobs. And also, the whole aspect of trade and women in trade is a topic that has been brought out quite a bit throughout the chat box I've seen, and is perhaps something that we would need to explore a little bit deeper. But just in the interest of time, I'd like to hear from each one of you on what really are your hopes and your aspirations when you think about the next generation and the next generation of African female leaders. What is the key message that you would like to convey to them on Africa's Women's Day? If there's just one thing that you would like us to take away from this day and what it means to inspire the next generation. I'll begin with you, Madam Mlambo. What would you say?
My hope is that the next generation of African women leaders, right, that they will have it easy when it comes to funding. If you become an investor, come up with different ways or a different process of funding women that is less cumbersome, less time consuming, and that is very inclusive of women. In other words, reimagine funding women and what funding for women would look like. Make it more accessible. We live in a digital world that we've been talking about this, right? Driven by technological innovations, a world of AI, artificial intelligence, where everything is moving so fast. So re-examine this strategy to fund women, technology and innovations, specifically tech inclusion, fintech, AI, all these play a big role. Right? So be a change or be the change that you want to see in this world. And my message to the generation of female leaders is, if there's no space create one for yourself. Don't wait for the space to be created for you. You have the talent. Combine that talent with your passion and make a lasting impact. You are the key to unlocking Africa's limitless potential that many people don't see or even realize. That is my message to you. Just be yourself, be true to yourself, and never be somebody that you're not. Thank you for that question.
Fantastic. And how about for you, Dr. Moshi? What are your hopes and your aspirations for our next generation of leaders, and what would be your number one message to them?
For me, I'm all about seeing more women in leadership roles. So my advice will be, take up that space. Don't wait for somebody to nominate you, to say your name. You go and create your own space and be on that table. I believe that if we have more women in leadership positions, it's going to be easy for the women there to bring other women on board. But also, I will see more economic empowerment. So if we have more representations of female at the decision-making table, it's going to bring diverse perspective. And I foresee when we have that, there's going to be more economic women empowerment.
That's very well said. And finally, how about for you, Dr. Aikaiso? What would you say your message is to our next generation of leaders?
Thank you so much, Meyer. I want to really say a big thank you to Joy, of course, with putting this together, this platform. And I will encourage every African woman, you cannot back down at this time. I'm still very focused in increasing representation of women. So I believe that the three things that we should really focus on and get more involved in is a lot more leadership development programs for women so that we can build the capacity to lead. We'll have to be involved with promoting women's participation in politics. We have to do it. We cannot back down anymore. And of course, intense advocacy, wherever that is happening, you must get involved, advocate for policies that would help to promote gender equity. We have to do it. There's just no way. We cannot achieve an empowered Africa if the woman is not empowered. And we cannot get the woman empowered if we do not increase representation of women in Africa. Thank you so much.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, ladies, for your contribution to this conversation. It has been an insightful one, an inspiring one, a thought-provoking one as well. Thank you all, ladies, for taking time to join that panel discussion. And I hope that for everyone who's watching right now, that was very insightful, that was helpful, and gave you something to think about and ponder on. Now, for our next speaker, I really wanted to be here today, but unfortunately, her tight schedule and her tight calendar didn't allow her to be here today. But she did send us a video. She took us some time to send us a video, and this next segment is really talking about driving social impact, focusing on African female founders and CEOs as change agents. She really needs no introduction. But either way, I'm still going to give the honors of introducing her. In the spirit of empowered women, empowered Africa, I proudly introduce to you Dr. Ngozi Okonjo Iweala, a trailblazer who has really achieved what no other woman has been able to achieve before. She is a woman of numerous firsts, and she really is the definition of a true trailblazer. As the Director General of the World Trade Organization, she shattered barriers by becoming the first woman ever and the first African to hold this prestigious position in the organization's 75-year history. With a remarkable career that spans over 40 years, she's made history as Nigeria's first female finance minister, and also she was the first female foreign affairs minister in Nigeria. Here is Dr. Ngozi Okonjo Iweala with a few remarks as she continues to inspire the next generation and create a lasting impact on our continent. Have a listen.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you a happy Africa Women's Day. This day was earmarked to recognize and affirm the role of women's organizing in achieving the political freedom of Africa and advancing the social and economic status of women on the continent. Indeed, African women have and continue to make remarkable strides. African women are dynamic, entrepreneurial, and persevering, breaking glass ceilings at home and internationally. When I look at young African women and some of the innovative work they do, it amazes me. Their innovative work in numerous fields contributes significantly to the betterment of our continent. Yet, while we celebrate these achievements, our work is far from over. This year's theme, Empowered Women, Empowered Africa, underscores the social and economic dividends of women's empowerment. Globally, a McKinsey study found that if women participated in the economy identically to men, it would add up to $28 trillion, or 26%, to annual global GDP. Research has also shown that women entrepreneurs who export their goods make almost 3 times more than women who do not. In my own country, Nigeria, World Bank research showed that bridging gender gaps in key economic sectors could yield additional gains of as high as $22.9 billion, or 5.8% of overall GDP annually. The logic is clear. Empowering women fosters African development. However, significant challenges persist. The Global Gender Gap Index of the World Economic Forum predicts that at the present rate, it will take 131 years to get to equity globally. For sub-Saharan Africa, it is somewhat less. Equity is 102 years. In education, we have made many strides and now have a higher proportion of adolescent girls in school than ever before. But the percentage of those who complete secondary education is still low at 42%. And a UNESCO report indicates that there are still 16.7 million girls out of school in sub-Saharan Africa, 9.3 million of whom will never set foot in a classroom. We need to change these statistics. Political empowerment presents a similarly mixed picture. The World Economic Forum finds that the political empowerment gender gap has in fact been widening since 2012 and currently stands at a staggering 96%. Historically disadvantaged in politics, women, when given leadership roles, have consistently proven their capability. And I talk about this more in my book, Women and Leadership, Real Lives, Real Lessons, written with Julia Gillard, the former Prime Minister of Australia. Since my appointment as Nigeria's first female finance minister in 2003, 3 other women have held this position. So it is important that we break the political glass ceiling to create room for other women. There have been only 6 female presidents on the continent since many of our countries gained independence. As of 2021, women constituted only 24% of the 12,113 parliamentarians in Africa, 25% in the lower houses, and 20% in the upper houses of parliament. Countries such as Rwanda, where women make up 61% of parliament, need to be commended and emulated. There's much to be done to empower women and close the gender gap. As individuals and communities, we must advocate for women, mentor them, and work tirelessly towards their empowerment. At the WTO, we believe that trade can be instrumental in empowering women. We strive to facilitate women's access to global value chains, recognizing that women trading globally can earn 3 times the income of their counterparts. We are working with the International Trade Center to establish a $50 million Women Exporters Accelerator Fund designed to economically empower women entrepreneurs by leveraging the potential of digitization to help them access global value chains. In December 2021, we concluded the Joint Initiative on Services Domestic Regulation involving about 70 WTO members. The agreement seeks to facilitate services trade worldwide by lowering trade costs and cutting red tape. This historic agreement, for the first time in WTO's history, included a provision on non-discrimination between men and women, thereby increasing women's participation in services trade. At the country level, governments must also play their part. Policies must be put in place and action should be taken to educate girls, provide better opportunities to empower women so they can fully contribute to Nigeria's and Africa's economic growth. Programs like the Growing Girls and Women Program GWIN and UWIN, Youth Enterprise with Innovation, which we established under Nigeria's President Jonathan's administration and his personal leadership, are designed to mentor and empower women and youth. Such initiatives require expansion as we strive for equity. In conclusion, let's work collectively to ensure that African women's voices are heard, their contributions are recognized, and their rights are upheld. By doing so, we will indeed build a stronger and more prosperous Africa. Thank you.
Wow, that's an absolute honor for her to be able to give a few remarks. Now, we'll now move to our next segment where we will present a digital exhibition showcasing the inspiring African female founders and CEO who were featured for the last 1 month. We're going to be sharing through their remarkable stories, their remarkable achievements, and witness firsthand the power of empowered women in shaping an empowered Africa. Please enjoy the slideshow. Wow, wow, wow. So those are some of the women that we're spotlighting. Please do go onto our social media platforms. You can just go on our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube as well to find out more about the particular women that we're spotlighting, what exactly it is that they do, and also to find out more information about how you can collaborate with them, how you can partner with them, how you can support some of their initiatives and be a part of that movement. So if you just go on Instagram, you can find our handles at Africa's Women Women Day, just to find out more about the women that were spotlighted. All right, now we will turn over to our next speaker. She has been incredible. She really is a huge reason as to why today has been a success. She's been a huge part of bringing us all together today and making sure that everything goes smoothly and that the event is a huge success. Please help me invite Abigail to onto this next segment as she takes us through. Abigail, over to you.
Thank you very much, Maya. Good evening once again. This has been such an amazing session. I can't begin to talk about how inspired I am by all the amazing women that we've had the opportunity of hearing from. So thank you all so much for gracing this event and also making this event a success, because without you being here, we wouldn't have this event. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to Ms. Joyce Zen, who happens to be the project coordinator of this event. It's been an amazing process all through. We're very thankful for all the support we've gotten. And I just also want to say thank you again to just a few people. We've had a lot of people doing so much work in the background. So I spoke initially as a part of Girls in Tech Nigeria, and I'm also privileged to be a part of the Africa Women's Day team, because again, like I said, the skill that I have in graphic design gave me that platform to the glory of God to be able to be a part of this. So that's why, again, I emphasize and hammer on what Girls in Tech Nigeria is doing, and the importance of women, young girls, our generation taking up this great opportunity to open up more doors for themselves through the skills that they can gain from technology. So I just want to say thank you so much to Mr. Benga Sonbe. He has been also running things for us on Twitter. We're very thankful for all the effort that you've put in. And just before, I also want to say thank you so much to all the facilitators at Girls in Tech Nigeria, because like we heard previously, we've had a very successful spring bootcamp where we've been able to train some women and young girls in various courses for free, and it's been awesome. And without the dedication of our facilitators, Miss Candy, Miss Margie, so many of them, I can't begin to mention all the names, but they're all on our website for Girls in Tech. You can find them. These are amazing women that have given their time just to impact other women, and we're so grateful for that. I also want to say thank you again to our family at Capacity Bay, because as I mentioned before, we can't run these programs without the men. And Girls in Tech was actually birthed from Capacity Bay, Nigeria, which happens to be doing amazing things also in empowering young people in different aspects of technology. So I want to thank all our brothers over there, Mr. Ifani Ubu. I want to thank Callistus, Yusuf, Emmanuel Onyebutu, Mr. Howard, Dr. Namdieze. I already mentioned our father, Mr. Obi Nawachuku. All these people have supported us to the latter to make this event a success. We're so grateful, and we look forward to more collaborations. I think I would just end it here. It's been an amazing session. I'm so thankful for the opportunity, and I look forward to greater things for African women all over the world. Happy Africa Women's Day, everyone. Thank you very much. And also thank you to our stakeholders who will be hearing from them as well. We have great women supporting us as well, like Girls in Tech. So thank you. There's so many people we can't just mention, too many people. Thank you so much. I'll hand it back to you, Maya. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, Abigail. Let's now hear from some of our stakeholders. I will begin with Mrs. Joan Otaru. If you could grace us with a few remarks.
Hello, everybody. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, my name is Joanne Otaru. I'm actually a trustee in Girls in Tech. And I'm here just to encourage the ladies in tech. Now, I can tell you my story. As far back as maybe as recent as just about 2 years ago, I wasn't techie. right? And if I tell you my background from, well, about 30 years, when I left school, when I graduated from the university, I was a pure art student. I left school, I went into engineering. I'm telling you this because just to tell you that you can do whatever you want to do as a woman. Nothing should hold you back. I went into engineering, and then 2 years ago, Capacity Bay came up during COVID and nothing to do. And, started teaching tech. I said, at my age, can I learn tech? My friend said, yes, you can. If anybody can, you can. So I went into tech. I started acquiring the skills, and I told my children, look, the world is heading towards tech. You better get involved in this. I got involved as well. And today I can tell you that I am CSS certified, I'm HTML certified, I've done JavaScript, I'm doing React and Node. And this is close to retirement age. So what I'm telling the ladies here is, if I can do it, any one of you can do it. Never give up, acquire those skills. The world is moving towards tech, and this is the right time to key into it. Don't let anybody or anything hold you back. Don't let anybody convince you that you cannot do it. You can. You don't need to be a math guru. All you need to do is have the passion, show up, and follow through. Believe me, you will do it. Girls, this is your time. Thank you very much.
It is our time indeed. Thank you so much. Let's now hear from Mrs. Ugu, who can also give us a few remarks.
Oh, hi, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening from wherever you are. And I'm so pleased to be in your midst today as a woman that actually I passionately believe in women occupying the tech space. And I'm just so pleased that we've partnered with our African Women's Day organizers today. And I'm pleased to say, as a trustee of Girls in Tech, I came into the tech world just like Joanne, very late in my career stage, just in the last 18 months. And already I'm a trained Splunk engineer admin, which is data, big data. And if I could do it from a arts background like Joanne, anybody can. And it's about empowering our young girls and women, not just young, all ages. And that's why I'm very pleased that a lot of words today is around empowerment. And that's what Girls in Tech are doing. And I'm very passionate that, to be part of that. I'm very pleased at what's happening. So thank you so much for giving us that opportunity to promote what we're doing, not just in Nigeria. And we already have a cohort of over 50 girls and women who have actually benefited from free training in the last 3 months. And the world, the sky is their limit of what they can achieve in any area that they go into. Tech is key for all sectors. As a lot of speakers already said today, technology and IT skills are key for people to get into, whether it's entrepreneurship, any area of work. And I'm very pleased to be part of these movements. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. I see the key message over here is that, first of all, it's never too late to begin. And that's really encouraging because sometimes technology can feel a little bit intimidating and we don't know where to start. And, we think it's really complicated. These are the perceptions that we have around technology. So to know that we really can start anytime, it's not something that you have to have started from such a young age, but really the ripe time is now, here and now, today, this present moment. Is such an encouraging message for us all. And to wind us off, we will have Dr. Iweala to give us a few remarks as well. Okay, I'm not sure that she is on. All right. So now, as we approach and we are approaching the end of this remarkable event, celebrating Africa's Women's Day, today's theme being Empowered Woman, Empowered Africa, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everybody who's joined us, our esteemed guests, our performers, our stakeholders who made this event possible, who shared their views and their contributions as well, and really reaffirming the incredible impact of empowering women in building an empowered Africa. Now, I'd like to give a minute to our very own Joy. I'm sure everybody has had Joy's name here and there, the founder of African Women in Europe and African Women in Trade, and also the coordinator of Africa Women's Day Awareness, in joining us from Germany. Joy, let's hear from you. I'm sure you must be so happy that the event has been a success.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It's so interesting to see all this happening in the background. And as you heard from all the speakers, it's time to occupy the space and also giving space for others, and as you lead at the back. So this was such an amazing, amazing event. And I was the one at the background as well. As I said, if you don't have somebody to do activities around you, you can also do it yourself. Don't wait. And a permission mindset, and has been going on and on around the whole session today. Very powerful speech. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our keynote speakers, Dr. Ngozi, Okonjo, Iweala from Nigeria, as you have seen, the DG of the World Trade Organization. He gave a very important speech there, if you really marked on it. And I had a very good news there for women in trade, especially those ones who are in my line of trade and businesses. There's a grant coming out, follow up on that as well, how you can be part of this as we bring development in the country. I also want to thank my very special guest and keynote speaker, Grace Kaybayo. We have been on this journey for a long, Secretary General of the Pan-African Women Organization, PAWO. And the first time when we were starting this initiative, said, we didn't even know they were existing, being a diaspora and being naive as usual, but just celebrating a day, I came to know about these powerful women, and they were ready to embrace our work, what we've been doing since 2021 until now, and we are never getting tired. And I'm very, very happy about it. And both of these keynotes, where they both shared the very important of acknowledging women achievement and celebrating these achievements. There's still more work that need to be done, and we need to create these spaces ourselves if nobody else is giving us these spaces. I also would like to thank Madame Amarachi and Madame Odera, and they were all part of all this Girl in Tech you've had together with Abigail. I call her Abigail because she is a lady that has been bringing a very powerful technology in the background. You know, we have gone digital, having this space here. All those flyers you've been seeing throughout the year, someone has to work with it. And she introduced to us the Girl in Tech, and we're very happy to really see your work and how we African women in Women's Day as a group, and also as an organization, Africa Women in Europe, and together with African Women in Trade, how we can work together and actually have a follow-up. So I also want to pass special thanks to our guest speaker, Madam Emma Kawawa from Tanzania. She's very powerful, a lady that I can learn so much. As you heard, she's a CEO of Tanzania Women CEOs Roundtable, and I tell you, CEOs Roundtable, where we can trap all those knowledge. And her topic, as she mentioned, investing in women, driving economical growth and sustainable development in Africa. This was is an inspiration, and knowing that we have this space where women who are CEO and founder can exchange information and learn from each other. And of course, the panelists, I was very happy that we finally got these panelists who are the real CEOs and founders, CEO Lumbie and Mlambo from Zimbabwe, and we had Dr. Naike Moshi from Tanzania, CEO of African Women in Management Africa, Dr. Louisa Kaiso from Nigeria as well, founder and CEO in Management Africa. And some of these, when I say like this, but when I abbreviate them, they will tell you something. WIMA, maybe you've heard about that. This organization of women doing amazing one. And it's so good when we have a platform like this on so many other platforms that are going on, not only this, going out today from morning till evening, embracing women coming together and sharing their knowledge, and also information that is very hard, which is a key thing that we have discovered throughout. And for this, for that space and creating the time to come, I want to thank you very, very much. Also, special thanks, my dear moderator, Maya Hayakawa. I cannot. You started this journey with us, 2021, and you're still here with us, sharing us all those experiences and learning. And today, I was so embraced knowing that we always have a backup to work with and someone we can work with along as women. And you as a person, I know you're a champion of supporting women, especially in the BBC Africa, that you have been moderating as well for some long time. And we're looking for more collaboration as we head on in the future of the Africa Women Day. And a big applause again to the leader, Madam Abigail. I'm really, as I said, I know you from the beginning. We started with just you organizing the flyer, and now we have seen how you're developing, being very strong lady, powerful lady, together with the leading team, guiding along all those emails, ladies and gentlemen, and all those emails that you get. Some of you even were saying it's too much, but yes, they were all being prepared by the ladies and her team. And I want to thank the girls in tech. We are looking forward to the presentation of the website that is coming up, and that you have been working in the background. So Africa Women Day is going to have how do you say, facelift up, that we're going to get a new page from the young ladies, and they're working in the background, and we'll be sharing with you more about it and how you also can be part of us in terms of getting all this information. We salute also all the 31 African women CEOs and founders that were celebrated in the month under the theme Empower Women, Empowered Africa. And it's as you all know, the ladies and the girl in tech, and together with the Africa Women Day, we went digging into the Google, finding out where are all these women, and also asking around before we found who you are, and sharing this on a daily basis on all social media platforms. And some of you were very surprised that you were nominated, and we had also a virtual meeting on Friday with one of the CEO, sharing information, knowledge. This is something we would also want to continue in the future. There's so much information, and getting to know these women and showcasing that they are celebrating them as a theme of the day. Special thanks to you as a listener as well. We have who have joined us today. I'm sure there were so many things you could have done today. You're here with us, you registered with us, you've been following us. Probably this is the third one because we have committed listeners here. We have seen on the chat quite a lot of connections there. We'll be reading all that. There were some questions also on the chat, which we will also be forwarding them to the speakers if they have not answered yet on the Q&A. But put the question there. We also had a poll that you are answering there, and asking you if you ever knew the Africa Women Day. I hope you've learned something new and you got to know about us, and we're going to be sharing the social hurdles on the chat as we continue there. So Africa Women Day serves a great platform illuminating the indulged delegacy of Africa women, celebrating their visionary and achievement that have left an remarkable mark on the Africa continent and the annals of world history. Given the distinctive nature of our historic narrative and the pivotal roles played by Africa women within, it becomes increasingly imperative to highlight an awareness regarding the significance and existence of Africa Women's Day. So we are happy to announce we will be collaborating with PAWO in the awareness program in next year. So as he mentioned there, it's a work in progress, and we're looking forward to partner, as you all mentioned throughout the speeches. We need to create spaces, we need to work together and creating an environment where we can embrace each other. As I close this session, I'm the founder of African Women in Europe and Africa Women in Trade, and the person behind really overlooking the Africa Women Day Awareness program that we started, and a champion of believer of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, a diaspora who believes and encourage other diaspora to go back home and be part of Africa development. I am Kenyan and I'm living in Germany, so there is so much we can do together. Thank you everyone again. See you again next time as I finish the call saying Viva Africa, Viva Women, Africa Women in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Joy. I'd like just to say thank you to all the participants that joined us together today. I've seen in your chats that you want to partner, that you want to be a part of the initiative. So if you are interested in partnering or sponsoring the organization, then please do reach out via email. You can find the email at africawomenday@gmail.com. That's africawomenday@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media, on Instagram. You can always reach out on there. Together, we can definitely create meaningful change and empower women across Africa. It's been an absolute pleasure moderating this event for you. My name is Maya Hayakawa. Thank you for joining us today. Let us continue uplifting and empowering African women in all aspects of our lives. Thank you, and a good evening or a good day to you, depending on where you are joining us from. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Tusherehekee pamoja ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu, tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote, tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano, hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja.